MCP is the full form is a model context protocol. So in the word it itself, it is protocol, right? So protocol means some standardization, some mechanism of doing stuff. For example, your TCP protocol or HTTP protocol, right? When you go to Google, type HTTPS, I mean, it is secure HTTPS. So HTTPS google.com. So if you type that on Firefox, Mozilla Firefox, or Microsoft Edge, or Google Chrome, or any browser in the world, if you type HTTPS or HTTP google.com, it will show you the landing page, the Google search page, home page, right? How it is doing that. Like anytime when we use HTTP protocol, it renders the web page of that particular site which we put, right? So that is a standard way of doing stuff. So that HTTP protocol was designed in that way. So when someone types a domain name, google.com, internally it translates that domain name by looking into a DNS server and translates it to an IP, finds that server where that host server is hosted, it connects to that IP and give back you the response in the form of a web page rendering, right? These are the basic things of networking and how the internet works. The idea here is to explain to you the protocol. And then we have a TCP protocol. We have various other protocols, DHCP protocol. I don't want to go into those kind of protocols, but just understand protocol means some standard mechanism that is defined to do certain things. And whenever you do that thing, this is the way you will get the response. Okay. So MCP is also one such protocol which was recently introduced. Now it is not recently, it has been more longer time. But Anthropic was the one and company who designed or who announced this protocol, MCP protocol. So MCP is Model Context Protocol. And what exactly it means. So imagine you have built an agent, and that agent, AI agent, is a agentic application that is a smart person. Imagine that is a smart person because it has a power of LLM now. But this smart person live inside a room. Only one particular, it is just enclosed in one model, and it has access to one particular model. Enclosed means just imagine it is trained on one particular data. Okay. On its own, it can only think and talk. So it can think and respond back to you based on the data it is trained on, right? Let's say I am using ABC model. That model is trained on my data, only my data. Now, if someone comes and asks that model information, will it be able to answer? No, right? Because it is not trained on that data. So imagine your AI agent is a smart person, but it is living inside its room. It is locked inside a room. It cannot send email. It cannot check your calendar. It cannot fetch data from any third-party applications. It can just respond back based on the training it has. Training it was done for that model. But in real time, in real world, we just don't need a request response kind of a model. We actually, if you want to solve business problem and if you want to automate things and build agentic applications, so the end goal is to solve some problem, right? Business problem. We are not just building just for fancy stuff, for namesake, right? This is a very fancy technology. I know this technology, I'll build something. No, you have to build something which is useful. Business can flourish after using that agent or doing that automation. The business is able to grow, right? There are certain business goals why we are building systems. So if it cannot do stuff, it is just responding, why would someone use it? So people figure out way that time. What people did, they started building certain tools, APIs, and exposing them to a model. When I say exposing them to model, let's say I imagine my model, it has my learning. Now I can ask, based on my past experience, I can ask anything, it will respond me. But I don't want to just be limited to only request response mechanism. I want this model to act also on behalf of me. Maybe schedule some meetings for me, send some invites on behalf of me, right? If I want to do that, my model need an access to my tools. What are my tools in that case? If I wanted to schedule some calls, send out an email is one tool. It can be my Gmail access. It can be my Outlook access, right? it needs my calendar access. Or if I'm using some payment platform, let's say you guys have registered using paying something for this masterclass, which is only operational cost, guys. We are not taking anything about these teachings, right? So that operational cost, whatever you paid, is linked to one platform that we are using for our payment gateway. So I want to fetch data also from them, your information, and then I want to set up, trigger an email, right? Whoever has registered and paid, just shoot an email. So I want to build that agent which not only respond me, it acts also for me. That would, how it would happen? It would happen when I'm exposing certain tools, write that code and expose certain tools, give my LLM awareness or a context that it has access to these tools and it can use those tools when needed, right? So what I will do, I will build some tool and I will just expose to my LLM through API or through any means. Okay. Now, same requirement can be of you also, right? You may also need such personal productivity agent which does this, or there may be 1,000 other people needing the same thing. All they will do, they will all build the code and API, connect it with an API. They all will be doing it. So now let's say I build 3 tools for one of my use case. Imagine there are 1,000 of people using the same thing and they are also building the same thing. So it's 1,000 into 3,000 tools they have built, which is doing the same thing. Cannot it be generalized? We can create one generic email tool which can be used by many. They can just pass on their credentials, because username and password will be just different, right? They can just pass it, but they can still use the same code, same standard. So that was the observation which these LLM LLM vendor companies did, and Anthropic was the one who did all this. And they introduce a concept called MCP, Model Context Protocol, where they define a way where you build certain tools in a way that can be reused by others. So it's just a concept of building your tools and exposing them in a certain specific way so that anybody in the world who are building agentic solutions can leverage and use those tools. So MCP is like, coming back to our analogy, MCP is giving that smart person who was locked in a room. So MCP is like giving that person a key to that door so that it can connect to outside world. So with MCP now, with the standards that we will build the tools and expose them to our AI so that our AI agent can send an email on our behalf. It can look data from target applications, third-party applications like Salesforce, Google Calendar, Gmail, or any database, anything. And it can also recall and save information in memory. So you might have heard that agents can have memory also. So that memory is nothing but a database that we build, and we give the context, we store that data in the memory of an agent so that agent knows your ChatGPT, right? Whatever you type in ChatGPT, it stores the context around your few last interactions, like let's say previous 20 interactions, previous 100 interactions, whatever the context window would be. So it would store that data, and whenever you ask something related to that information, it will try to build on top of that, right? So that's what your ChatGPT will have, or your agent will have a memory. So all these things you can build, but you have to build it in a standard way, and that standard is nothing but MCP. So think of it as a USB port. If I take a USB port analogy, so USB 2.0 you can connect, and then you can have adapters which connects your mobile phone charger or Apple phone or whatever it is. Like you build a common adapter that have different ports catering to different needs, but at the end they are consuming power through that adapter, and all are consuming the electricity and getting charges, because getting charged, that is the end goal. So that is what that port exposure and that adapter can be your MCP. Okay, if I explain in that analogy. And this is what we have talked about before MCP. Every tool, I mean, if there was one application, 3 tools, then 1 into 3 integrations we have to maintain. After MCP, it is just one MCP server. Everybody, like 1,000 applications, can connect to that MCP server. All you need to do is one just MCP client. You have to build one logic, 3 line or 4 line of code, call to that MCP server. Okay. So this is a kind of an example architecture, not architecture, blueprint you can call. So let's say I want to connect to a MongoDB. So MongoDB might have exposed one MCP server it have defined some standards there. So server, if you want to consume MongoDB services, this is the input you want to pass, and this is how it will give you the response. Usually it is JSON. Okay, it is mostly JSON only, always. So but you can define the parameters like what you are expecting as a response. So if I want to connect to SharePoint, it is not only me now, anyone, you guys, like thousands of other developers who want to connect to MongoDB. Before MCP, they would have to build the code by themselves. And imagine like thousands of such people are building code, same code again and again in their own way and maintaining it. But now, instead of that, MongoDB has taken care of that part. They have built a server, MCP server, and all you have to do just connect to that server. We as a consumer, all we are doing is applied AI, consuming AI for our application. So all we have to do is we have to just write a code which is known as MCP client. So that configuration we have to do, and then connect to the server. So Cloud Desktop is one of the best example where you can connect and host. You can connect to various MCP servers. Recently, I connected it to a Zomato server, and by typing through prompts, you can order food from Zomato. That's already available on video, is already available on my YouTube channel. You can go and watch. Okay, and you can try also. So you can just install Cloud Desktop, configure MCP server. It is just very easy, 5-minute thing. You just need to get the MCP server details. It's a JSON file that you need to edit, paste that information in that file, and your MCP client is ready to connect to your MCP servers. You have to do authentication and all that stuff, because it will be your user ID, and that it will take like we do Google login and all, right? Similar to that. So yeah, this is all about MCP.